Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 10th installment of our Orizon campaign. I am your wonderful host, Doma, followed by my incredible players that are all here. We'll get into those people in a moment, but not before we do some announcements. Tomorrow, the 27th of April, we will be joined by some incredibly hilarious and amazing at everything people from Dice Paper Roll, a very, very popular Australian D&D podcast that have been performing in several live shows over in their respective areas. Will be joining us for a very, very special one-shot, where we will also be joined by Yosh of our very own campaigns, Orizon and Draenora, for hopefully a very, very entertaining time. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can come around at 2 p.m. CST instead of our normal 5:30 p.m. CST to catch it live. And if you're not able to catch it live, it will be going up on Tuesday of next week. Speaking of guests in that regard, last week on Friday, we were joined by two very, very special people from two different podcasts, starting with Adam from the Spellcast podcast. He joined us in the Heist, the Magic Paintbrush, which also had Yosh in it, and the other member of our new group of friends who are also creators would be the DM of the Fern Gaming podcast, Liam, over there running the D&D podcast over at Fern Gaming. They do more than just podcasts or D&D type things, so you should go check them out. All the links to these wonderful people will be in the description below. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on Twitch, you can go and check out who I'm following, because I'm following all those lovely people. They're really, really great, and last week was pretty funny. It was pretty great. So yes, you can go and check that out. It is up currently on our YouTube, and you can just click on the playlist at on the main page of the channel to go right to it. While you're there, you could also watch our other one shot that was DM'd by Delta. On that same note, a couple of other announcements. We will not be having our normally scheduled Saturday session of Draenora due to some of our players being out of town or unable to participate. So instead, one of the players will be stepping up to DM a one-shot, and that player, luckily for us, will be the most amazing Brit that we have on this channel, which would be Alex, better known as Lavash for his character on Draenora. He has been cooking up something in his big old noggin of his, and he's been itching to let it out, so we're giving him this opportunity to do that. And that will be happening on Saturday in the normal Draenora time slot, which is 5:30 p.m. CST. On that same note, we will not be having a session of Orizon next week. Unfortunately, our very own Delta is going to be coming out of a pretty, not extremely serious, but rather important medical operation that will kind of keep us from performing at our 100%. And during this sort of preliminary start time of this new arc of the show, we want to give him all the time that he needs to rest up. So, but he is here today, which is really, really nice. And there will be something happening on that day as well. More information will come. So if you want to know what it's going to be, then you can go ahead and follow any of us on Twitter. I'm the person who usually tweets the most about the announcements, but if you want to follow any of the people that are in here right now, then you can go ahead and scroll down to the panels on Twitch, over to the little section with all the Orizon Twitters. You can go and check out those links. Or if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in the description below. And you can follow us and see all the different stuff that we do on a daily basis, or sometimes a semi-daily basis, or weekly basis. I think that's everything. All right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Leave anything out?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Okay. Then, without further ado, I believe it is time for Last time on Orizon D&D. The party recently formed and known as Destitutariats enjoyed some downtime after relaxing and sorting through mountains and mountains of paperwork. More specifically, Grafford was sorting through mountains and mountains of paperwork, filling out everything that needed to be filled out to establish the new housing unit in the district and setting up certain accommodations to enjoy the stay, we'll say, of some of the team members. Meanwhile, Raldir and Piton went on a short stroll to the libraries of Thenium, the largest collection of books and documents in all of the world, covering information and knowledge spreading across the arcane and natural, ethereal, and planar existences. All the while, a few days later, Raldir was summoned to the head director's quarters, where Sarol Kaldon, in a terrifying, emotionless, murderous attack with his newly created prismatic revolver, assaulted Roldir after explaining how much of a danger the invention of the thunder cannon would be to the world. After being met with an ultimatum of either returning to his workshop in his hometown of southern Amali to destroy the blueprints and or remnants of any information leading to the invention of the thunder cannon, to be destroyed or be killed on the spot to eliminate this threat himself. As a result, our party begins preparations to travel to southern Amali. So, if there are any special preparations that anybody would like to make prior, now is the time.
All right, who's first?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking my preparations will be as normal as anybody's.
I'll just prepare what's necessary for the ship on this trip.
Yes, so Grafford immediately begins to take a few pieces of parchment from the table that you guys would eat at, and begins to start writing down a series of things. Goes into his office, pulls out a different document, and starts to write down a series of things, and you're going to be doing that for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What else?
Is that 15 gold still on the table?
Yes, it is.
All right, I'm going to scoop that up and walk out.
Okay, where are you headed?
Wherever the meat comes from. Cafeteria, kitchens, whichever.
See, that's the interesting nature of how food is acquired. So the way that you've been doing it, which has kind of been the unorthodox way, has kind of been wow, I didn't think we would actually get to see this, so it's really cool. Let me get those notes out. Yes, so you begin to head over to a rather special area of the reserve, and you are following your memory of the first time that you were introduced to this method, also long ago. And you begin to walk towards this sort of corner of the reserve, sort of tucked away from the rest of it. Think like a kiosk in a corner in a mall, like just really tucked away. And it kind of has this kitchen on the inside of it, that you can see through a few small slits. And the smell is just overwhelming.
Overwhelming good or bad?
A mixture of both. There's a lot of different types of food going in and out that could be pleasing or not so pleasing to the nostrils or smell receptors of any kind of all the races that are walking out and about. So the place that you've been getting your meat has actually been outside. You found a a small container that had a small, well, not so small because you've been pulling pretty large things out of it. It used to be small, but then you made it bigger because it was annoying.
Sounds right.
It's this sort of space. You are moving along the side of this hole in the wall type area until you find a small sort of service door that leads outside that technically you're not supposed to go through, but you do anyway. You go through it, and it's a thin kind of little bit of walkway, and you have to, with your large figure, it would be enough for a normal person to walk across, but you have to like press your back against the wall and kind of shimmy your way over until you come to this sort of platform that's on the side of it, and it has just piles and piles of old and rotting meat.
Excellent.
You're not sure how it gets there, and you're not sure why it's there, but it is.
I'm just going to take as much as I can carry.
Any preferences?
The least rotten in this case.
Okay.
Sticking mainly toward non-humanoid.
Wow, that's every time I throw that random meat dice, it always comes up goat.
You
Cat.
pick up a human.
No. Okay, so I guess you can add about 6 days worth of snacks to your inventory.
Snacks.
Is it
Those count as
snacks?
rations.
Yeah, they do count as rations.
For Yizit or for everyone?
Where is it?
Yeah, we all saw what
That's
happened
their-
with Raw Deer.
They're considered Yizit snacks is what you can title them, and if you want to add a descriptor to it, you can put gut, because that's what it came up. Every time I throw the d12, it always lands on 12. So,
all right, and after that, I'm going to go to Zool.
Oh, jeez.
okay, so we'll get back to that. Anybody else making special preparations?
Quick question.
Yeah,
Do I need to feed my weasel?
no.
Okay,
It's
never
not.
mind.
It's not like an actual being. It's more of a. It's more of an entity that exists. Like
It's
it,
like a ghost.
it looks and it feels and it sounds like a weasel, but it's instead it just doesn't need to be fed. That's you've read about this.
All right. Oh, I don't have to take care of Jeffrey as much as I thought I had to.
I forgot his name was Jeremy.
Jeffrey.
Did you just
Jeffrey.
take Jeremy?
Jeremy, Jeffrey, Grafford, whatever.
Oh God.
If I haven't yet, I'm gonna go ahead and make my potions.
Okay. Or you're just gonna do that in the comfort of your own office?
Yeah, I don't need anyone else looking at the monstrosity of toolkit
Okay.
I'm bringing out.
Okay.
Monstrosity.
So that's it for special preparations?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You guys are gonna have to probably like return those books. Just saying.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what?
I'll
on
do
the,
that now.
I was gonna say on the day before, I'll return it.
Yeah, because you guys do have 5 days.
What?
Oh.
You have 5 days to make your preparations before you leave.
Yeah, I'll do it on the day before we leave
Okay.
because I wanna get as much use out of these books as possible.
The book, the one
The
book.
book, my singular
The
book.
singular
Well, yes.
book. I'll
Okay.
return it now because it's not of use to me as of right now.
All right. So you're gonna go over to the library and return the book.
That book is.
So yeah, if nobody else has any special preparations that they're gonna make, then we can just get back to it.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have any special preparations.
Having fun isn't hard when you got a library card.
All right. This shouldn't take very long.
All right, so you just a quick question: how are you carrying these things?
Oh, I just put them in a bag.
Like, what kind of bags does Yizik carry?
Nothing waterproof.
Well, I figured that much, but like when I like, is it like a pouch, like a sack?
Yeah, just kind of like a burlap sack that he hangs on his belt.
Oh lord, I can just imagine a really like soggy burlap sack.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh god.
Like it slaps against his like outer thigh.
Oh god, with all his like meat juices and stuff.
Yeah.
Just the simple
So
I bet
use
he
it
keeps
just smells awful as a result, like all the time.
I bet he keeps it in the swamp water too.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh god.
Alligators
This
do
hasn't been in the
prefer-
swamp water. What's
they
in
do
there right
prefer
now?
rotten meat.
Oh,
But
jeez.
no, when I get to where I can see Zool
Okay.
at his desk, I'm just gonna kind of stop and wait for him to be alone, or mostly. And while I'm doing that, I'm picking through for the best, like other people best quality snack that I have, preferably dried.
As dry as a sack of meat can be. So.
Oh no, from my other snacks.
Oh. Okay. So you're waiting there for about 15 or so minutes, as Zool is a very important person and is always very, very busy and surrounded by very, very busy people, in the departure and arrival, station of, the reserve. There's just a lot of traffic going in and out. So there is a singular moment where you can snag him with 2 other people, whereas before it was groups of 8 or 9.
That's fine. I'll just walk over.
All right. So he's standing there chatting with a couple of people. He takes a glance at you, but doesn't say anything and continues.
All right. I'm gonna lay the like ration +1 on his desk and just kind of do a low nod and walk away.
Well, he doesn't like he doesn't really like have a desk. He's kind of just standing out in the area, but you can put it on one of the nearby tables that are close to him.
That's fine. But I'll wait for him to look before I do the nod.
Okay. So the other 2 people leave, and your kind of presence has in that vicinity to him has kind of deterred others from approaching. So there's now a moment for about 15 or so seconds where it's just the 2 of you, and he looks directly at you with this sort of intimidating gaze.
That's cool.
As
gesture at the snack, nod, and walk away.
okay. His gaze does not change, nor does it break. Do you make eye contact? This is very important.
Not really, no.
Okay. So yes, then you begin to head back. Is there anything else anybody wants to do?
No, but when you said intimidating gaze, before that I really thought Zool would look at him kind of like really awkwardly, just like, geez, he's
Zool
back.
is not that kind of person.
That would be more like what's his name?
That'd be like now Maul.
Now Maul, yeah. I feel like he'd look at him and be like, oh no, he's back.
So yes, if there's no more preparations that are going to be made, you've made all of your patayons. You go and return your book. Fun fact about the books, you don't really need to walk back up to the checkout station. As soon as you walk towards the entrance of the library, the book kind of flips open and both sides of it kind of, imagine opening a book up to the middle of it and then flipping upside down, and it begins to flap away.
It's a book. It's a book bird.
Cool.
And it kind of disappears along the shelves.
You know, if we come back anytime soon, I really gotta try like hanging on to one of those.
Just trying to be carried away by a
I
book.
can get carried by the book, yeah.
Into the distance.
You gotta
You're
do the
writing on
flying
the
by the
internet.
book.
Oh jeez.
Yes, you
Gotta do the
go away.
flying.
Okay. All right. So then we're going to move to just the final day then, if there's nothing else anybody wants to do.
I'm good.
24 hours.
I'm good.
24 hours still in departure.
Less. Yeah. I don't think there's anything I need to do after I've returned my book.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the day strolls around, and what's the energy in the room like? Because currently the energy in the room is not how I feel it reflects to the in-game. As you all are like bringing all of your things together into the sort of main living quarters of the area.
I don't know. I feel like Raldir would be pretty conflicted.
It's gonna take a good chunk of change to get there, by the way, and I don't mean that by money. I mean time to get from the reserve to the southern part of Amali.
Yeah.
Is there like a fire pit area in the residence?
There is a fireplace, but not like a central pit.
All right, I'm gonna break it until it works to where I can smoke this meat.
Oh jeez.
Or actually, I'll do it in my swampy area on the beach.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna try to convert these rations into like jerky.
I think we'll consider that special preparations. It happened again. Speppel.
Speckle. Speckle.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Special preparations.
Yes, special preparations. We'll consider that. So you're carrying all of the documents, and as you finish the last one, they all burn up into that light, but instead of appearing like when you request anything else, it kind of just turns into that similar ball of bluish white light and then begins to fade slowly until it disappears. That's normal for you, because that just sent the order over to Nelmal, and Old Rusty is being loaded as we speak.
Okay.
Cool.
Woo.
Good to hear.
So then the party begins to walk over in that direction, heads over to the departure department. Zool is actually not there right now, as part of the orders that I forgot to mention in greater detail was that the departure time that was scheduled for this sort of secretive mission was 3 a.m.
Oh.
So
Guys, I scared him off.
there's not really anybody around. There's a couple of people, some of the graveyard shifters, and you head over to the departure, flash over the letter with the seal on it that you have, Grafford. They go through a couple of the pages, just the first top 2, stamp a couple of things, and then hand it back to you, and you make your way over to the loading area.
Okay. I'm just gonna nod when I get it back. So I'm assuming everyone's following me, yeah?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yep.
Alright, well. I guess I'll just hurry onto the ship.
I'll slowly get onto the ship because it's still early.
Yeah.
I'll follow close behind.
Oh
And-
God, the sun hasn't been up, has it?
No.
Yes, it is groggy.
You haven't gotten your sunbathe.
You know,
That sounds very scary. I don't know why.
Raldir needs his beauty sleep.
So, you begin to see, as you're making your way over towards the vessel, you're seeing multiple entities going over on the ship, off the ship, and now Maul actually grabs you on the shoulder, Grafford.
Did he break the
Grafford!
one- Oh, okay. Yes?
I needed to inform you of something.
Go on.
As per request of powers higher than myself, I was, rather, I have the unfortunate news of telling you that your ship, Rusty, as you've come to name it, has been, I guess you could say, altered. As your team has been changed, and the manner of this voyage will be taking several months. There have been quarters built into the lower deck of your ship.
Oh, that sounds great. Thank you.
Once again, I am aware that a majority of the alterations have been done by you, and you prefer that we do not intervene in that, but it was out of my control.
No, that's fine. Don't worry.
Yes, so in the lower deck, there are 4 doors, and you will find your attuned quarters within.
Thank you.
And your ship has been loaded with enough supplies for the round trip of your destination. So everything has been taken care of. We were notified of your supply requests.
Mm-hmm.
Be well.
Take care of things here.
And he scampers off.
Good kid.
He's
Grafford's old.
kind of old, but not older than Grafford. He's definitely not older than Grafford. But when he's
Grafford's
when he says kid, you guys look at him like that guy looks like he's in his mid-50s.
Exactly.
Which would definitely signal Raldir to think he's really old.
Well, come on then. Let's go ahead and get on the ship.
Yeah.
We haven't much time to lose.
Okay, and I guess I'll get on the ship.
So everybody begins to make their way onto the ship. Everybody was in the area when he was talking about the lower deck. So who wants to go check that out?
Me.
Oh, I'm definitely snuffling around.
When I hear snuffling, I can't imagine anything other than is it like snake
Sniff,
moving on the ship.
Idling's up while he sniffs, just dragging his forearms on the ground as he moves himself around with the back legs while sniffing the ground. I don't know, that's what I imagine.
Okay, so while Patan is probably gonna move over there, I'm gonna just kind of speak out. If Yizit goes down there, make sure he doesn't break anything. You heard me, Yizit?
Yes, it's right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I'm already down there.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn, and it's just gonna be like an outline of smoke.
Actually, you're just gonna see a gray tail kind of disappearing down the stairs.
Yeah, so you the way that you get down to the lower quarters is that there is a door directly between the how do I describe this?
Is it like in this area?
It is
Like almost like an opening to a captain's quarters.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Between the two staircases.
Yes, as the two staircases on either side, there's a door that leads into a small little platform with two staircases on either side going down into the lower deck, where there is a lot of cargo stored. But at the end of it, you see two doors on either side of the hull, and it looks like if you were to open them, at least how far up they are, it's not like there are these walls on the side that would kind of square off rooms. They're just doors. Doors like where the curved part of the wall would be in the lower deck. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been on a ship before.
A lot, actually.
Yeah. So on that lower part where it like kind of curves upward a bit, there is a door there, and it looks kind of strange since the door is curved to match the wood. And you begin to like kind of turn the handles, but so we're gonna go in order. Raldir, you keep trying to turn the handles. 3 of them are locked, but one of them opens, and it looks exactly like your quarters in the reserve. And each of you begin to turn the handles until you find which one is yours. Baton, you find yours, and Yizit, you see your swamp in there too.
Whoa, that's cool.
I'm a happy man.
And I assume Grafford is already going up to the helm, or rather the wheel.
The tiny wheel, yes.
Seeing that, this is all known to me. I'm gonna go up there with him because Yizid is actually really familiar with ships.
So you go back up onto the first up to the deck, and I didn't mention this before, but in these sort of ports, there's a kind of type of mechanism, I guess you could call it, that has several spinning like stones, and they begin to rotate, and the ship begins to kind of move backward.
Ooh.
Fancy.
That's pretty cool.
Until you pull the altitude lock lever to unlock it, and you begin to rise backwards. You tilt the ship forward by locking the Y and then turning the wheel on the X, and it begins to kind of tilt with its back facing upwards as it moves at that angle, rising out of the dock. And then you fix everything. It's just a series of ka-chung, 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 as you see him moving multiple levers back and forth, until you pull out a compass and you begin to fly in the direction of southern Amali. So the voyage will take 3.5 months
Oh no.
with this size of vessel.
Oh boy.
Road trip.
So we have 2 options. We can either expedite the process and skip over it entirely, or we can have small moments.
I'd say
I'm
Roll
fine
for
with
it.
either one.
I do value small moments,
So yeah, small moments are cool,
but at the
yeah.
same time, that's a long time.
Well, rather, I would keep it to about maybe 3 or 4.
yeah, let's do that.
That works.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do small moments.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. So you guys have been traveling for about a month. You're just going through the hard stock rations of what you can really get on the ship for these long voyages, just dried meats that have been preserved by some means that you can't quite understand. And it is the middle of the night, and to really accelerate the process, there is always one person driving. And by driving, I mean waking up Grafford if there's anything in the way of the ship while it's locked in all positions being carried by the wind. So, let's get an order on who does that for the different points of the day. So there's going to be one for early morning, sort of noon, and then afternoon and night.
I shall take the night shift.
Okay.
I guess I'll do early morning.
I'll take whichever one Grafford doesn't.
I'm driving.
Yes, so we'll say that you'd be driving during the noonish part. But you guys kind of have to sleep in cycles, is the thing. To like really not have to stop the process.
Gotcha.
Well, I would like to note that Yizid is proficient with
Sleeping.
navigator's tools and water vehicles, if this translates.
This does not translate.
Okay.
Since its piloting mechanism is mostly controlled by these 4 levers rather than kind of turning sails.
Okay. But I've got the navigator tools.
Yeah. Another thing is that this ship has been built specifically for a gnome to pilot. So for you, the wheel is really, really tiny.
I'll just belly up to it.
He uses one hand, destroys it.
Oh, jeez.
No, I hope not.
Yeah, that would suck.
No, I'm a
It
careful
would.
boy.
All right. So yeah, so it's the middle of the night. You guys have been traveling for about a month. We'll say for the sake of this, since I asked you what times, it's Piton. Piton is sort of just the only person on the deck currently. You're sitting off to the side watching the oceans kind of passing as you're staying about 100 or so feet in the air above the water. And it's quite astonishing to you. You haven't really been on this type of large-scale travel. You've not seen this much of the ocean before. And it's mesmerizing. The reflection, while not still, since it is the ocean, the waves are crashing on against each other, of the 3 moons in the sky, is beautiful and inspiring.
I've never seen this before. It's quite interesting, I must say.
As you're mumbling to yourself, the person who would be kind of designated to be waking up soon would be Raldir. It's almost about time for the shift to swap over.
Time for work. Okay.
So as you've been keeping this shift, you and Piton have kind of been talking to each other quite a bit, since you kind of have that exchange when swapping over shifts. So you begin to make your way up the stairs out of your room onto the deck, and you see Piton over, kind of with elbows on the railing, kind of just staring out at the water.
Okay. I'm not gonna say anything at first, and then out of nowhere, because I'm sure it was completely, almost completely silent before I came up. I'm going to. I might be a little bit of a jerk right now. I am going to yell, "Look out!"
As so
Wait, forgot that. I'm just gonna dunk and fall on my knees.
so you grab onto the railing and drop down to your knees and kind of just put your head down underneath the railing and wait for a moment.
To not seem like a jerk, I'm gonna say, "Okay, there was a bird coming this way. I thought it was gonna hit you, but it didn't."
Make a deception check.
Okay. Yeah, 21.
throw insight. Would you, Paton?
There's a bird.
A bird. It's a plane.
You believe him.
Hey.
Well, okay. I didn't see any birds before, but it seems like you didn't notice it.
Yeah, gotta watch out up here at this altitude.
Thank you for warning me.
No problem. I'm gonna take a lay of the land. I'm gonna take a nice look out before I, do my time. That sounds really bad, but before I do my time.
Make a perception check.
Okay. Seven.
7 perception?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you're looking around and you're met with the same kind of mesmerizing view as Baton kind of leans up once again against the railing. You kind of saunter over next to her and look out at what she's looking at, and it's beautiful. You've seen the ocean twice before in your lifetime. Only one other time when you were like this on an airship the first time you were with Azure Fire's adventuring party. And though unfortunately, since you were stowing away, you were kind of looking through the small little holes on the underside of the ship and didn't quite to get this incredible view.
Yeah. I'm gonna take that nice. Just kind of taking it all in. I'm gonna say, it never gets old. Just never gets old.
Wait, so this is my first time seeing the ocean, right?
Your second time, because you would have to have seen it once before when you went to the reserve.
All right. It doesn't. This is only my second time seeing it.
Yeah, I've seen it before, and then, well, when we were going to that whole ordeal back at the temple, but that was on, shall I say, different circumstances that I got to see all this. I'm not going to go into detail.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna, I'll stand by the wheel, just up at the high point, I guess. Like up here.
Wishing where Jeffrey is right now.
Jeffrey's probably in your room right now, sleeping.
Okay.
Rip Jeffrey.
Hey, Radia, you want to play another round of Dragon Chess?
well, I mean, I suppose it couldn't go any worse than the first time. Okay, why not? I guess I'll take out my set of dragon chests. My nice fancy float stone dragon chest.
Floatstone living pieces.
Okay, so how does this work again, Aries?
3d6, but first you make a wisdom check and add your proficiency if you're proficient.
And I am.
But I'm not. Oh.
Let's see, hold on. So that is my wisdom mod is +2, and it's +3 for proficiency?
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Right there on your sheet.
Yeah, 21.
Okay. Throw 3d6 each of you.
I'm nervous. Yay, wait.
Oh.
So it's a pretty even game. This time you don't let the kind of facade of not knowing how to play the game, even though she continuously insists that she doesn't know what certain pieces can do what. You see that she's trying to set up for a rather sneaky takedown on one of your dragons, but you immediately counter by taking out one of her archers and immediately eliminate the move. You guys tied, so it comes down to the wisdom check.
Yes.
So with the strategic removal of the archer, you go for one of the techniques that you learned in your book, which would be the sneaky fireball. And you've been planning this move from the very beginning of the game. You've been slowly but surely moving one of your wizards over to the right side of the board, positioning for the perfect moment. And then you make a feint with one of your soldiers, and the king takes a small step to the left in reaction and gets hit by a rather sneaky fireball strike that wins you the game.
Now, do I want to say something snooty?
Raldir is the victor.
Well, I never doubted myself for a second.
I didn't doubt you there. It's just pity you've been for a while. Congratulations, everyone.
Yes. I guess I'll put that away and under my breath now. What's my score now? What is that? 4-1, 3-1? No, 4-1. Yeah.
4-1.
I'm gonna under my breath say 4-1.
Well, 2-1 for people that are alive.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna say 4-1. Doesn't matter if they're alive or not.
Sad face.
A dub is a dub.
Right, if there isn't anything else that you want to do, then you return down to the second, the under area. The word escapes me right now. And you return to your room and you see Jeffrey kind of curled up in a ball on the bed, kind of like a little poop. Boiled up.
I'm gonna pat his head very, very lightly with like a single finger, and then I'm gonna lay down.
All right. So you've been traveling for 2 months, and it's about midday. Everybody is up and awake, except for Grafford, who has been sleeping in preparation for his predetermined shift of piloting. So as Grafford wakes up and you head up to the deck, who's on the deck?
I guess I'll be there, just chilling, just kind of sitting on the steps probably.
Wait, everyone's there, right?
I'm
Well,
kind of.
Everybody's awake.
I'm laying on the deck with my mouth open, just absorbing sunlight.
Okay.
I shall be on the deck playing around with Jeffrey.
Photosynthesis.
Okay.
You wave your arms out.
So as Grafford begins to come up from the lower quarters, you see you see Yizit kind of laying on the metal grate, kind of just looking up at the sky, mouth open, on all fours. And off to the side, to the right of that, you see Piton with Jeffrey kind of just jumping along the side of the railing, precariously close to jumping off of the ship. And Raldir, what did you say you were doing?
Well, I'm just gonna be sitting on the steps, like the steps up to the wheel, not like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of just sitting there.
Just chilling, just kind of taking in the scenery.
Looking out over the left. Ow.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna rub my eyes a bit, and get all the sleep out of him, and then I'm gonna see the beautiful picture laid out before me. Grafford's just gonna smile.
It's a wholesome family.
So, I guess you all are enjoying your time on the ship, eh?
Yes, it's been quite nice. I've liked the traveling and the scenery. Not too bad. It's always beautiful traveling.
A lot of people don't get to live their lives on one of these things, let alone ever see one of these.
Aye.
Cherish the time you've got here.
Oh, for sure.
But we should be going on like this for who knows how much longer.
Raldir, you know how much longer, actually.
Oh, how much longer?
Month and a half.
I'm gonna point that out to him. I'm gonna kind of stick a finger up and say, at this rate, it'll be about a month and a half.
No, as a group.
Oh. Well, still. Month and a half,
Oh.
just so you know.
That's a funny one. I'm gonna say, wiping my eye.
Yizit is definitely watching Grafford and seeing if he moves toward the stairs.
He's currently standing on the stairs, I think, with...
Not yet.
With- So you're looking up at Raldir?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were like on eye level with him by being on the stairs.
Also, my head's gonna perk up because I just remembered something. I'm gonna like shift over, like kind of lean over to where like Grafford is. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I beat Patan at Dragon Chest last night.
Just gonna smile.
I'm gonna give him the little okay hand symbol with a nice smirk.
Well, I guess I'm proud of you.
Ah, thank you.
With those skills, maybe you'll be able to best someone at the tournaments. Maybe you'll be able to win one day.
One day, maybe.
That'd be a long-term goal.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna go up the stairs and stand with the wheel.
As soon as he heads that way, Yizit's mouth is going to shut with like this extremely loud clap, and he's going to scuttle his way up the stairs on all fours.
On the other side of the stairs?
Yes.
I think you
Please
knocked
don't
me
tell
down.
me Jeffrey's gonna get scared again.
Running over Raldir.
I meant
my
the
God.
stairs. I meant the stairs parallel on the other side.
Yeah.
The other stairs.
Okay.
If he was going on mine,
Jeffrey's gonna freak out because of the snap.
Jeffrey's gonna jump off.
No.
Just jump off the side.
I'm not kidding.
No,
he
Jeffrey.
he jumps off the side in fear since the alligator is literally thundering towards him.
Can I like try to
Piano
catch
Man.
him before he falls?
You don't need to. You can teleport him, so you do.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So he tries to jump off the side, and just as he's about to move out of your range to call him back instantly, you pull him back through the aether, and you're kind of just holding him in your hands, kind of keeping him close to your chest, protecting him.
No
Well,
worries,
that-
Jeffrey. He's just an attitude. He's not that scary, I swear.
That thing's not even a snack, so I'm just gonna crawl my way up the stairs and very pointedly watch him work these mechanisms after I plop down again.
Okay.
Well,
All fours style or tripod style?
All fours.
Okay.
Just on the belly, splayed out, mouth barely open, but I'm paying attention to what he's doing.
The greatest part about this is when you're on all fours, it's not like you have the short, stubby legs. It's your like full limbs.
Yeah, but they just
Atmosphere.
So it's like the Exorcist style walking on all fours.
Yeah.
pretty much. I was gonna say The Grudge.
Yeah, I like that.
But
Actually,
no, I'm
kind of
just-
terrifying when you think about it.
yeah, it really
You see a
is.
large lizard man doing this.
And he moves really quickly when he does it too. Okay, we're not thinking about that anymore.
You know, also, just on a side note, Raldir's gonna kind of reel, almost like not going to like a fetal position, but like bring his legs up a little bit closer to him, just when he sees Yizit go full speed, all fours.
It's definitely unnerving to say
I
the
was gonna
least.
say that would be extremely unnerving.
All aboard the Use It Express.
I was gonna say seriously, jeez.
He's a race car
For-
if I get
for-
on his back.
I was about to say, for future reference, Grafford can technically use it as a mount.
Jeez. To be fair, he already has
Yeah, technically.
on the shoulders.
One day it's gonna be just be a boat to everyone. Use It Express everyone.
Actually, in the water, it would work even better because I could drag all three of you, I think.
So,
We're just
yes, after that moment, you just begin to watch with very serious concentration and focus on how he begins to move some of the levers and how else do I put this? Really just try and learn as much as you can.
Is the compass built into the ship or is it portable?
It's built into the onto the kind of railing of the ship. The wheel is kind of almost up against it, and from where Grafford stands, it's within the viewable range of his peripherals.
Okay. So I can see it where I'm at.
Yes, from your current height, yes.
Okay. That's it. I'm just learning.
He's a
What?
smart boy.
Do I see him just like intently glaring at what I'm doing?
Yeah,
I don't
course
think
you
you
do.
could miss him.
you definitely heard him coming up.
Yeah.
That'd just be
Thundering.
terrifying to hear that.
Like,
Well, it's 4 feet. It's
yeah. It's more like,
yeah, like a
Yeah,
horse.
it'd be like a really fast, like, trot almost.
So, yeah, I'll go ahead and look look at Yizit and just kind of. Do you need something?
He's watching. He's not really sure what's going on, but
no response.
well, I was gonna say, how fly boat.
Oh god.
Teach your lizard
Yeah.
man to fly. There's an old saying in there somewhere.
There's an old saying back in my home country: teach a lizard man to fly.
They won't ever need your services.
Oh.
Well, I didn't know you would be interested in learning. I could show you if you want.
The mouth's going to shut completely. Yizit's going to kind of transform into tripod mode. And
I just imagine like some mechanical noise. He turns into like a turret, like a sentry.
Yeah.
and he's going to pull his personal navigator's tools out of his belt pouch and hold them out to Grafford.
There's like a parchment, one of those navigation needles with like a telescope. I'm not going to say the name because you guys will laugh at it.
I know what it's called.
Yes, you know
So
what
do
it's
I.
called.
Wait, what?
It's a sextant.
It's a sextant.
Ah, yeah.
Oh.
There it is. So
Hey, I said because I forgot. The
yes,
name.
it's the it has like the 2 points and then like
Yeah,
the little telescope.
Yeah,
As a note, though,
it's a weird thing.
the parchment that he hands Grafford, is it a map?
No.
It's just like numbers.
He opens the parchment. It's like a little crayon drawing of him of him and Grafford holding hands.
of Grafford on Yizit's shoulders.
I made for you.
Just the mental image of Yizit just being like a toddler.
Look, I made.
So,
Actually,
Like a macaroni
enough-
necklace made out of finger bones.
Oh, jeez.
funny enough, the writing on that parchment is not uncommon.
It isn't.
I don't need this to show him how to fly, correct?
No.
I really don't need those tools to fly at all, correct?
No. Not this airship.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just shake my head. Those tools are more for a different kind of ship.
So the
appreciate-
just a quick note about what's on the parchment. The parchment has what looks like several pairings of some kind of script that you have no idea what it means. And it seems to be like a long list. And then a little bit of space away, in these sort of triple column type kind of layout, are other things in script that you cannot read. Seems rather organized and orderly to an extent.
For Yizit, that is.
Yeah.
Well, does he speak the language that it says?
Yeah. You know exactly what it
Okay.
says. But
I mean,
translating it would be
I mean, does
difficult.
Grafford-
Grafford does
does
not.
Grafford- Okay.
Yeah, I speak lizard folk.
I don't
No,
even-
it's not that.
I don't even know what. Wait a second. DM me if you've DM me the language so that way I can give a better description at some other point. But yeah, so that's
Just-
the paper.
Yeah, so I'm gonna like. It's for a different kind of ship, but I appreciate the sentiment. As for the papers, I can't say I understand the writing, but it's appreciated.
All right. Yizit's gonna kind of pull him back and stuff him back in the belt pouch. They are extremely undersized for his frame. I will say that.
They're all made of bones.
Oh, jeez.
No, they're actually just regular navigator tools.
All right.
And yes, I did pick that because it's navigator.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
I really didn't.
Me either.
But I gotta say, I'm really happy you picked them.
Yeah.
So, can I spend a while teaching Yizit how to fly this ship?
It's gonna take.
Can I tell him what each lever does.
I can't guarantee that it will click in his head, since you're going to be using terms like X, Y, altitude, stuff like that.
Fair.
It's like trying to explain it. Like it's a really complicated process to explain. Like even I'm having trouble trying to decide how to explain it, and I know how it works.
Okay, let's just, for the sake of expediency here, I'll explain it like a really fast teacher that doesn't allow you to take notes quickly enough to keep up with them.
Okay, he's barely listening. He's just watching what you're actually doing.
So yeah, I'm gonna speak pretty quickly and like flip switches. Like this is for that for this, and if you ever need to do this, and in this situation, just
Make a general intelligence check, is it?
Oh, my favorite.
By the way, can I just watch this and confuse
13.
It wasn't too bad. You can see the similarities between a seafaring vessel in some aspects of it, but these levers are fucking nonsense to you. That's
I'll
what you
improve
get.
them later.
So did you get all that? Is it?
The mouth just kind of opens. That's it.
I'm just gonna blink twice. All right.
Hear a breeze go by.
Somewhere a cricket teleports in.
The cricket stowawayed on the ship.
No. Roll here?
Well, I guess if something flew past you, then you can ask me about it later. For now, I should focus.
And from every day after this, Yizid is going to be watching.
Okay.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
And it's a big ass alligator man.
Oh. Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna keep flying in silence. Every once in a while, I'm gonna look at everyone and kind of try not to look at Yizit. Because he's just like a looming.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Well, Yizid's not like standing over him. He's just belly down.
Oh,
kinda,
okay.
Yeah, but it's still
next to him.
intimidating to be watched this closely. Like
Well, no.
you feel like your every move is being watched and judged. So make a wisdom save.
Okay.
This is why Jeffrey is currently far away.
8.
It's still rather intimidating. You've never been inspected this thoroughly while navigating before. Even though he's staying stationary, it's like a hawk on a perch.
My eyes are gonna be kind of wide.
Sweating.
You know?
So
It's like
the
that
gif of the guys
yeah,
sweating buckets.
Yeah, of Key. I think it's Key from Key and Peele.
You know,
No,
a
it's
thought's gonna
Peel.
come to my mind. Okay, so I'm guessing I saw Yizit laying on his stomach, right? Earlier?
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna think about this. I'm gonna look down at my very pale skin. I wonder if I could get a tan. Because I don't know much about ASMRs. Roll here. So I'm gonna pull a Yizit. I'm gonna lay on the floor, but not like on my stomach, on my back. I'm just gonna kind of lay there, just see if anything happens.
Okay.
Jeffrey walks past. No, he walks onto her.
Wait, what are you doing?
Nothing. No, I'm just.
Okay. Then that's the end of that little engagement. Another month passes, and this time it's early in the morning, just past the waking hours. Raldir, you're still feeling pretty alert, since you were sleeping just before the start of your shift. But you're the first person to see it. Let me grab my notes so I can say specifically what I wrote. You're kind of just standing over the side, looking out, and you've been traveling for 3.5 months now. And on the horizon, the page turns. You begin to see large greenery on the edge of your vision.
Large what? Sorry, gonna.
Large greenery on the edge of your vision. As you approach the rainforests of the southern tip of Amali, just above you can see dark clouds beginning to brood, forming, and I need you to make a nature check.
Can it be with advantage? Because this is my own homeland.
Yes.
Okay. Well, all right. 23. I got a natural 20.
You know exactly what's coming. The rainforests have, at least during this part of the cycle of seasons, it's tornado season. And it's looking like there's going to be not a full scale, but a small scale typhoon. And you know for a fact after 3 months of seeing Grafford navigate that you are not going to be able to handle this, doing like a small adjustment like you've had to do before.
So it's going to be like, it has to be like a major thing that we got.
It's gonna, yeah. It's the rains are starting to very, very quickly move. The wind begins to kick up, and you're being pulled towards it more rapidly than before. The sails being pushed in roughly, and then being swung to the sides, just flapping in the wind. And you know you need to get Grafford.
Yeah, I'm gonna immediately go down. Also, do I know which room is Grafford's after all this time?
Yes.
I'm guessing. Okay. I'm gonna go right to Grafford's room. I guess I wouldn't be able to open that. I don't know. I'm just gonna pound on the door. It's like, Grafford, wake up! This is important. This is serious.
I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm gonna kind of run outside.
Do I hear this?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can Patan and I hear this?
Actually, because of the nature of your rooms, no.
Okay, that's fine.
You can't hear any of the sound that is on the other side of the door unless it's being interacted with the door itself. Like if somebody's knocking on the door or jiggling the handle, you'd be able to hear that, but outside of that, no, nothing.
So as soon as I get close to the door, I'm going to say, you sound pretty urgent. What's up? And I'm going to open the door.
Kind of, I'm sure I'm sweating or wet from rain or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say typhoon, like right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna put on goggles and I'm gonna run towards the helm.
So you both begin to go above ground unless you want to alert the others.
I will do so. Yeah, just because this is pretty important. I'm gonna pound on both their doors. Just gonna say, wake up! We've got a typhoon.
I'm gonna quickly get out of bed and run out. Let's
Yeah.
take him.
Yizik comes out on like 2 legs this time, and just completely no armor, no clothing, jets toward the helm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. So everybody, so you're up there first, Grafford, because you're darting up there, and you can see on the on the edge of the horizon. Really hard to say that without saying horizon.
Yeah.
On the edge of the horizon, you begin to see a storm picking up, and it is bad. It is really, really, really bad.
Boy.
And you know that you need to land this thing now, or you will be torn to shreds. You begin to see some trees starting to be uprooted from the ground. Huge, massive trees that are easily the size of the length of your ship, just being uprooted with long roots going down into this starting to barely form cyclone.
Pull the bags up! We need to land this thing immediately! I'm gonna yell out.
I'll do so.
I'm gonna hurry up to bed now.
This part is
leave
actually
Jeffrey
really
behind.
familiar.
Yes, it is. This is a rather serious storm. Lightning begins to crackle, and you begin to look down into the forest below. You're being rapidly drawn towards this thing as you begin to descend downwards, adding more weight from the appropriate methods to kind of pull yourself downwards, even dropping the anchor over the side just to try and get down as quickly as possible. Make a perception check, Grafford, with disadvantage because of the harrowing.
The harrowing?
Yes, this very harrowing experience.
Oh. I was like, what?
It's all happening very quickly and very...
Perception with disadvantage. Natural one.
Okay. And even if I didn't make you throw a disadvantage, that was the first one that landed, so...
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Oh.
So you're looking around for a place to land, but you're not able to find anything, so you just immediately try and get the ship onto the ground, trying to steer away from the cyclone. Make a just make a dexterity check and add your proficiency bonus.
Can I assist with this?
Yeah, sure. In the way that essentially you're just grabbing on the wheel and helping him turn it. So he gets advantage, yeah.
21.
Yeah, so you're able to pull away from the cyclone, and you begin to kind of use the momentum of the clockwise kind of suction motion that the air is taking right now, and you essentially use it to fly past it, but then it begins to pull you backward. But at the angle that you're going down, you begin to go downwards, and everybody begins to brace for impact as you begin to crash through the canopy of foliage. And I need everybody to make strength saving throws.
Crawford's gone, boys. He's gonna get launched off the ship, and it's gonna be funny.
All right, 15.
17 or 18.
I got the
19.
lowest one, of course.
15.
19.
And this is where I fall.
Call it out.
12.
Okay. So, Yizit, you begin to see Patan sort of about to get caught in the trees as you're crashing through these many branches of these large, really, really tall jungle trees. You see a moment where you can grab onto like her ankle and like pull her downwards, and as everybody is bracing for impact, you just continue to crash downwards, and everybody takes. Everything begins to shift and move around. You hear the sounds of breaking wood. You can't tell if it's the sounds of the branches breaking, the ship breaking, the cargo breaking. Uh, 17 points of bludgeoning damage.
To who?
Everybody.
Everyone? Wow, okay.
Doubled for Patan, so 34 to Patan.
I'm already down there.
So Patan falls unconscious. As you pull her down, Yizit, to try and keep her from taking the brunt of the blow, her head hits one of the branches and she immediately falls unconscious. And essentially, the ship comes to a stop. And everything is still for a moment, and you just begin to hear the sound of some sort of creaking. And the ship begins to slowly begin to turn at an angle, almost like rotating, before it comes to a stop. And you can see that all around the ship in different places are vines.
So we're Jurassic Park in this.
The ship is tangled in vines and held aloft by a series of branches, and you are still about 60 feet off the ground.
Mm.
And as everything is kind of on its side, Raldir, you are kind of grabbing onto the metal grate right now.
Yeah, I imagine.
And your signet ring begins to glow a brilliant green. And that's where we're going to take our break.
Okay.
Well then,
Scary.
very
Cool.
scary.
Yes, that is going to be the end of episode 10 of Orizon, the beginning of our new arc titled Homecoming. So if you want to watch part 2, just click the little info card on the top right, and you'll be taken over to part 2. If you're watching on Twitch, we're going to be back in about 15 minutes. I'm actually going to time it this time, guys.
Whoa.
Yay!
That's new.
But yeah, we'll see you guys in part 2.
Yeah!
Timer.